In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I'm here with an interesting guest. I'm with Israel Amescua, and he is hailing over as the head of growth for WeeSign. And today we're going to be learning what WeeSign is all about, and also how Israel is thinking about growth for the company. He's heading up the team. So, Israel, welcome to the show.
Hey, Lucas, very much appreciate. First of all, thank you for this invitation. It's an honor for me and amazing what you guys are doing. Very, very good that these companies are growing and making a big impact, right, for the ecosystem. So that's amazing.
Very cool. Nice. Yeah. So give us an overview first about WeeSign, right? For people who haven't heard about WeeSign, what is WeeSign all about?
Sure. Well, WeeSign stands for We Electronic Signature, right? So in 2019, September 2019, we started as a digital signature platform. And that's our main core, right? That's how we started to change from traditional signing of documents with paper printing, scanning, all this process that in a way has become obsolete, right? To now we are a SaaS, right? We're a software as a service with digital signature, digital contracts, verification of ID, background checks, complying with the Mexican regulation.
Very cool. And maybe tell us a little bit more about the types of companies that are using WeeSign. Is it enterprises? Is it even small businesses? Who's using it and who's getting the most value out of WeeSign?
That's a great question because it's very interesting. At first, it was created for lawyers, right, to comply with the Mexican law in terms of signing documents. And we started to realize how really it's a multi-industry service, right? A lot of industries sign documents, some more than others, of course. And I mean, I will ask you, like, if you know any company that doesn't sign any documents.
Actually, as you were saying it, everybody.
Exactly, right? So we started to realize how more industries can be benefited from our service. And with the pass of the time, they even came to us, right? Like, hey, we sign a lot of documents, please help us. How does it work? What do we need to do? And then, I don't know, it was like a company that we didn't even think about. And after that, we opened the door to find more companies like that. So in these last 2 years, we have really find out how we can help a lot of industries from small to high, enterprises, medium, small companies. And that's the objective, right? Like to stop signing paper.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. You mentioned the Mexican legislation and regulation there. Is the tool exclusively for the Mexican market, or is it expanding in different countries? Like, who can companies from other places use it the same? Maybe tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, it's legal everywhere, right? The point is that Mexico has their own regulation in a matter like a certification and their own law. So you have to comply with that. And the companies that use our services, they can comply, so they can be sure that when they have a document, they can go to court and win the case, right? That is not just like a simple sign or trace that I do with my finger, PDF, post it, right? Like it's totally different. You need like an audit trail and more elements to confirm that this document it's a smart contract, right? Because we are also implementing blockchain. We started blockchain when WeeSign was born. So we have these hashes, right? So it gives an extra security layer besides the law security layer, right? So we have clients in Latin America. We have clients in Mexico that also operate in Latin America and the documents comply. And now that you mention it, this is like the growth part because in Mexico, we just finished like our pilot, right, with Mexican companies. We find some very nice sweet spots with enterprises and medium companies, small companies that taught us how to take this to another level, right? What they would need from us, because more than we just providing a service and here everyone take the service as you can, is like what do companies need? What are their needs? Because every company is different, right? Even though they do the same. So they have taught us a lot in this year, in these 2 years of pilot, and now we're ready to expand even more to comply with Latin American companies and to expand to the south of the continent.
Very cool. How do people hear about WeeSign? Sort of what are the key client acquisition channels, the head of growth, like, what are the channels that you're currently, leveraging, or what are the channels that you're excited about moving forward?
Okay, so mainly marketing, and there is like this cool network effect because yeah, it's just network like clients of clients, like or my clients send sign documents with WeeSign and they come and they ask like, hey, I want to know also about your service. I was looking for this. And yeah, our clients even refer us to their clients or to some of their partners or someone. So it's pretty cool because that shows us that the service is first good, no, that they liked it. It's very user friendly, very intuitive, but as well that it's a need, right? That they want to change this. So in my experience, since we started, there was little or nothing about digital signature in Mexico, like even though it's not new and the law is not new, but there was little knowledge and people were scared and the lawyers and the companies were not like very keen, right? They didn't want to do it. So the panel helped in this way because they started to have the necessity of signing from distance, right? Remotely. So now there is no way back. It's not stopping. This is just growing. Some more companies are jumping in, and that is amazing. I mean, more than for us as WeeSign, for the society, right? For the country, for the world to stop printing and signing and saving paper in rooms to then throw it away.
It makes complete sense. Interesting. Very cool. One question, I know you're obviously heading off as a head of growth, the sales side of things for WeeSign, but, quick excursion, because you mentioned marketing is important. What's your perspective on the website? What role does the website play for WeeSign's growth?
Well, very important because as I was mentioning, these first 2 years of pilot showed us that if something is very important is to have a led growth, right? Led product growth. So the platform needs to do everything by itself. As a user, you have to come in, pay what you want to use, which service you need, amount of documents you need, what do you want in this service, only signing, only verifying as well, which services do you need, make your own package and invest, that's it, and use it by yourself. So this led product growth is going to help us to escalate even more. So more people has the ability to just in a matter of a couple of minutes be ready with WeeSign and start to sign digitally, right? Instead of we do all the process of calling with you and explaining you, like more of a consultant thing, which at the beginning it was more like that, but now fortunately, because people is starting to know more and trusting it more, they just can, like with the credit cards before when you were paying online, right? That it was like a fear, and now everybody just do it. So we're in this transition of accepting it.
Makes sense. If we're switching gears a little bit and learn a little bit about yourself as a leader in the company as well, I'm curious, right? As a head of growth, obviously you have a lot of different responsibilities. How do you keep educating yourself forward? Like what is sort of, where do you like to read? What sources do you go to? How do you filter stuff? Because there's a lot of content you could read, as a head of growth. Like what's your go-to places?
Well, first of all, very important, blocking your time, right? Like you have a lot of things to do. You cannot do everything every day. So you need to block your time. And I take my time 30 minutes, sometimes 1 hour a day to study other things, to just like stop working, stop solving things, sending emails. I have my time blocked for everything. And then I just study. I read some articles, I listen to some podcasts, I read some books, right? And this has helped me to continue like implementing immediately because I learn and I have the opportunity to implement, right? And the next day, in the next call, in the next situation. So it's very important to keep in mind that you need to take your time as well for yourself and not only to solve things or to focus in your chores and your tasks, right? You also need to continue nourishing yourself, more knowledge for the future because it's advancing extremely quickly, right? Technology is full of information. In 6 months, we're going to be talking about something else, right? The technology that we started using 2 years ago now is kind of obsolete. We need to continue advancing. We're full of information every day. So it's very important to just like take that time, breathe, meditate, listen to yourself, learn more things and implement.
Very cool. To wrap it up for the interview today, I have some rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Sure.
What's the last book you read?
engines that move markets.
Mhm. What is the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Expanding.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, right? Everything is possible. What's the one thing you would fix for your role?
That we can finish the roadmap in a matter of a week.
Nice. What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Very motivated about what's coming, about the future. It's very bright.
Very cool. And the last question that I have is, right, if we would be doing a little bit of time travel and we go back to the days of your business studies back then in university, and you're stepping out of university and off into your career. I know you've been a founder before and doing interesting stuff. What's the one advice you would give yourself?
Buy Bitcoin.
I mean, timing wise, that would be, it would still be quite early, I would say.
Buy Bitcoin, and when it comes, and focus your time and your energies in something that you love, and don't get distracted by. I mean, you have to learn, of course, right? And that's part of life experience, to make mistakes and learn from them. But sure, it will be like a focusing since before, not waiting to be older, right? Like 18, 17, it was a great time.
I really appreciate, appreciate you took the time for the Pathfund Presents podcast. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about WeeSign today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Good question. They should remember that our objective, our mission, is to live in a paperless world.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathfund Presents.
Thank you, Lucas. Pleasure.